Okay, I thought I unmuted myself. Okay, let's try that again. What's going on, everybody? I could have sworn I pressed the unmute button, alright? Maybe it just didn't take. Okay, let's try that again. I've already messed myself up. Thanks for letting me know, Shipman. I appreciate it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to RunOrHideGaming. It is the first Monday of the month, which means it's time for another edition of Mighty Morphin Mondays. So I got some fun stuff planned for us tonight. Got some Sentai that we're going to watch. Got a topic. Why you're not streaming on YouTube, because we're going to show some copyrighted stuff, and we can filter that out with Twitch. We cannot filter that out with YouTube. So I'd really prefer, so going to try not to get our YouTube channel flagged, demonetized, all that crap. This will be uploaded later on YouTube. I'll probably try to upload it by like tomorrow at the latest. You know, we have a plan. Once I go back to doing like Steve Scared Shitless and Steven Fantasy, we'll start broadcasting again on YouTube. I was having trouble broadcasting on YouTube on Thursday when I was finishing up Final Fantasy. Excuse me, 16. It for whatever reason, like OBS kept crashing, and then it just wouldn't reconnect to YouTube. So I was just like, screw it. We're just gonna do Twitch and TikTok. Oh my god, I was doing that freaking game for like till like 2:30 in the morning. How the hell does 10% of the game, 10% of a game take that long? The important thing is I wrapped up Final Fantasy 16. It's all done, minus the side quests and the DLCs, whatever. I don't count those. You know, and we'll start the PS4 God of War game next Monday. So please tune in for that. I have not played it yet, but I've heard nothing but good things. So I am looking forward to it. But anyway, that is not important. That's not important right now. It is Monday Night Flawless Games. Yes. Yes. I'm assuming yes. But yeah, like I said, guys, tonight is Mighty Morphin Monday. If you guys are new to the channel, we are doing Mighty Morphin Mondays the first Monday of every month. So since it's the first Monday of July, here we are. If you're tuning in to see Steven Fantasy, you gotta wait till next week. Yeah, so I came up with a little topic tonight that I'm hoping that if you guys are tuning in, you guys will chime in, share your thoughts, share your opinions. Like I said in my little promo video, I just want to keep it fun. You know, I'm not here to shit on anything or call anybody stupid or anything like that. It's just kind of, you know, discussing, you know, just trying to come up with a topic that I thought would be, you know, interesting to talk about, and that hopefully, like I said, people that in the know, yo, of Power Rangers can chime in on why continuity does not matter in Power Rangers, or why continuity in Power Rangers doesn't matter, whatever the hell I wrote. Oh, man. Do you guys like my little GIF that's playing? You can't see it on TikTok, because I didn't put it on there. But I'm trying to make, trying to use a few more visual aids while I'm doing this. I'm not playing a game tonight, guys. All right, I'm not playing Power Rangers Playback, or Power Rangers Rewind, Rita's Rewind, whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, we're not doing that tonight. I'm going to show, like I said, I'm going to show you guys a Sentai movie. It's like 24 minutes long, but it's a movie nonetheless. It played in theaters, that makes it a movie. And then we will discuss our topic, and we have a new feature where we have our web browser where we can actually view what I'm looking at on the internet. Isn't that cool? Can switch between things. You know, there's the movie we're gonna watch. Here's some other pictures of stuff. Isn't that stuff cool? You bet your ass it's cool. Yeah. So yeah, trying to use a little bit more, visual aids. Try to, you know, so it's not just me sitting on screen talking while copyright-free music plays that kind of sounds like Power Ranger music. but it's different enough though that no one can sue us. And no one will block us. But yeah, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody is doing well this fine Monday night. Hope you guys had a good weekend, a good 4th of July. Mine was pretty good. Hung out with my friend Tyler, and we watched the movie Thunderbolts, which was actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed that movie much, much more than I anticipated, because I have kind of stopped giving a shit about the Marvel stuff. I don't like, because there's stuff that I just straight up haven't watched. Haven't seen Captain America: Brave New World. Haven't watched Daredevil: Born Again, or the Ironheart series that just came out, or I don't know. I'm sure I will sit down at some point and catch up on everything, but for right now, I don't care. Maybe when like Avengers Doomsday is like coming out, I'll sit down and try to catch up on everything. I don't know. Are you going to see Fantastic Four, Steve? I don't know, maybe. I will see it all eventually. Whether or not I see something in theaters, that's another question. Yeah, so that's what, yeah, so did that, and then hung out with my family, had dinner, you know, hung out at a park for a little while my niece played. That was really fun. And then Saturday and Sunday really didn't do too much. Just kind of chilled at home. You know, worked on some RunOrHideGaming stuff. But nothing too crazy this past weekend. But yeah. Before we really get started tonight, I have seen this popping up on social media the past couple of days. Very sad. So the actor who played, you guys can't see the whole thing. Hold on. See if I can minimize it. Yeah. So, if you guys grew up in the 90s, this guy played Masked Rider in the Masked Rider series that came out on Fox Kids and Saban. And no one knew until recently that he had sadly passed away in 2022. I guess the family just kind of kept it under wraps. Very sad. You know, how he passed away is a mystery. You know, he's probably a fairly young guy, probably 40s. You know, his picture's from, 90, 5 or, sometime around there. But I just want to do a quick shout out. You know, I was not a big fan of the Masked Rider series, but actor seemed like a nice enough guy. You know, he got his time to shine as, in 3-part Power Ranger episode, and he got to star in 60 episodes of his own series. So hey, you know what? He, if his dream was to be an actor, and he lived his dream. So, I don't know anything more about his personal life, but just want to say, rest in peace, Ted, Jan, Roberts, hope, best wishes to your family, and again, sorry, none of us knew that you had passed away, but, we're honoring your memory now, and that's all that we can do. If you guys haven't seen the Masked Rider series, someone put it all on YouTube, like all the episodes. Not the best quality, but I think it's also not that great of a series, but it's at least worth a watch. If you like 90s Saban stuff, if you like Power Rangers, if you like VR Troopers, if you like Big Bad Beetleborgs, watch it. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's a solid enough series. It's 90s cheesy. If you like 90s cheesy stuff, I'd recommend it. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to do that very quick. But yeah. All right. I'm going to bring this up later. Okay, so another topic. So where am I now with I wanted to bring up that that over the weekend, I completed my viewing experience of Kira Major, the Sentai series, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It was a good series. Another one where they have car powers, but there's like these big, like, cube things that give them powers. You know, and they get their powers from like aliens, like who are basically like crystal creatures. It's very hard to explain, but I watched it all. It was a very enjoyable series. So as of now, in terms of what I have seen for Super Sentai, I know I've brought this up before, but I have not. But after watching the series, I have now seen everything from the original Go Ranger to, damn it, I'm gonna do that again. From the original Go Ranger to Dawn Brothers, which came out in like 2021, 2022-ish. Look how far Sentai's come. This is 1975. This is like only from like a few years ago. Like how much, it's crazy to see like how much Sentai and and Power Rangers have evolved since then. Like just very simple to like kind of going like batshit crazy. The first male Pink Ranger, so kind of interesting. And then Black Ranger is like a fox or a dog. It's like a bird outside. I don't know if you guys heard that. But yeah, so yeah, I haven't seen anything past Dawn Brothers. But I will. I'm trying to limit my spending right now, so I'm working on. If you guys see this pile behind me of DVDs and Blu-rays of series that I'm going through, I'm waiting for that pile to get a little bit lower, and then I'll start ordering some more from eBay. I'll catch up on some Super Sentai stuff, some Kamen Rider stuff that I still haven't seen. That's the plan. I just started watching Ultraman Geed, which I'm only 5 episodes in, but that is a damn good series so far. I am very much enjoying it. Another thing that I wrapped up recently is the Power Ranger novel that just came out. I'm not paid or endorsed by any of this stuff. I'm just telling you guys because I want you guys to know. The Power Rangers novel, Forces of Chaos. It's interesting. It's like a YA novel about kind of like the beginning of Power Rangers, all from Trini's point of view. And, it's not the same exact story of the show. There's changes. Like, they definitely add a lot more depth to the character. Like, Trini is very, like, shy, and she's afraid of showing off that she knows martial arts because she doesn't want to be thought of as like a negative stereotype. And then she used to be best friends with Zach, but Zach kind of started hanging out with more like jock people, and like they kind of drifted apart. And then her only friend is Billy, and then Kimberly's the new girl. Jason and Zach kind of have a rivalry because he was on like, they were both on the football team, but then he got kicked off. So they all kind of have to learn. Well, Trini kind of helps them all kind of come together and become friends. I don't want to spoil it too much. It's a good read. It's pretty short. It's only like 320 pages, give or take. Like it is not a long book. I kind of committed myself over the past like few weekends to be like, all right, sit down and read at least like 100 pages, each weekend, commit yourself to at least that. Don't say you're going to sit down and read it all in one day, because then it'll never happen. Do it small increments at a time. It is also the first book in a while that I've actually read. When it comes to me and books, it's usually either some kind of graphic novel, comic book, manga, or, like if it's like a book that requires reading, it's like an audiobook. But, so I'm proud of myself. First actual book that I've read and finished in a while. I also got this too, which I haven't started reading yet. More Phenomenal, How Power Rangers Conquered the World. So yeah, I think it just goes into like, like, you know, start of Power Rangers and like, you know, the evolution of it behind the scenes and all that. So, I know a lot of stuff about this behind the scenes, but like, I'm still curious to read it and see what other tidbits I learned because I think it goes up to like I don't know, like when they're Cosmic Fury. I think I saw like there's like a picture of that shit in there. I don't know, I'll show you. Yeah. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in here. So yeah, it's cool. So that's where I'm at with all the Power Ranger stuff right now. What I'm doing, what I'm reading. I know technically it's Super Sentai that I'm watching, but it's still connected to Power Rangers, so it still counts. Yeah. So that's what we got going on tonight. Not really. I'm like, hey, Dylan, what's going on, buddy? How are you? Thanks for tuning in on the old Tiki Talk. What you got going tonight? So Dylan, the plan is in a couple of minutes we're going to be watching another Super Sentai movie. I mean, it's only like 24 minutes, but you know, it played in theaters in Japan in 1970 whatever. Boiling AC is out, and I'm melting. Oh damn it, Dylan, that sucks. That sucks. You gotta, dude, man, dude, grab a credit card and go stay at like a hotel or something, man. You know, get the schmuck out of there. Don't melt, Dylan. Don't melt. Hopefully you get it. Hopefully you guys get it fixed soon, because yeah, you don't want to be sitting around with that forever. It'll get cooler once winter starts. But anyway, so the plan is for tonight, we're gonna watch a. Exactly, David. Exactly. Meanwhile, hi, David. How are you? So yeah, we're gonna be watching a Super Sentai movie. What movie are we watching? Well, I'll reveal it in a few minutes. So that's the first order of business. Like I said, it's only like 24 minutes long. And you guys, whoa boy, I love the last movie, even though I still didn't understand it. Well, you probably won't understand this one either. I mean, it's not a hard plot to get behind, but it's dude says, hi, Steve, doing good, thanks. How are you? I'm doing fine, David. I'm doing fine. Um, yeah, I think that's gonna be like my format moving forward is trying to have like a topic each Mighty Morphin Monday stream, and then like showing like a Super Sentai movie like at the beginning, because none of them are long. They're not, I think at the most they're probably like 80 minutes long. Yeah, yeah. They don't, there's no Peter Jackson Power Rangers movies that are 3 hours long and then extended edition 4 hours long. There's no that. There's no that. Super Sentai stuff is pretty short. Yeah, so it'll either be like an episode or a movie. Most of the movies are team up movies. Those are always pretty fun. So yeah, it should be a fun night. And then my topic for tonight is why continuity in Power Rangers does not matter. I've written down a couple of talking points here, but I'm hoping that you guys will chime in with your thoughts and opinions as well. Please do. That is what this is here for. So we'll chat about that till about 11. We'll end the stream because I got work tomorrow, guys. I can't be staying up all late. I stayed up late on Thursday night because I didn't have work that day, or that next day. So that that just happened to work out just fine. Alrighty. So let's hop in to thine movie, guys. We're playing off a web browser. So the movie that we are watching is the first ever team-up movie in Sentai history. The first two Sentai series. Technically, they're not. Technically, neither one of these are Super Sentai because they there is no giant robot. It has to be. There needs to be a giant robot for it to be Super Sentai. It is Jaka versus Go Ranger. This is the original series. This Go Ranger aired for I think from like 1975 to like 1977. 84 episodes. Hugely popular. Was like an overnight success. Became a staple of pop culture. Once that ended, it was followed up with Jacka, which had a playing card theme and was only like was a fairly short series. I think that one's only like 36 episodes because it wasn't as popular. It was a little bit darker and had, and I think people probably just were, you know, you know, when they changed the entire cast around and be like, these guys are gone, but you guys will like these guys. I think little kids get attached to characters, so I'm pretty sure that's probably what turned them off from this. But Jacka, not a bad series, not a bad series at all. So this is the first ever team up movie between Jacka and Go Ranger. I believe it came out in theaters. It's only 24 minutes long, and this takes place after the end of Jacka. So I'm gonna put on my headphones here because luckily I can hear it with you guys. And there's subtitles and all that stuff. Hopefully it won't. Hopefully there will be no technical issues. But yeah, let's watch Jacka versus Go Ranger. What you guys will hear if you're watching this live, if you're watching this later, you won't hear the sound. But also let me know if it is too loud, too quiet, and I am more than happy to make any adjustments. uh, so old school. Could you tell this is made in the 70s? Yep, it always had the explosions. Damn, that's a funky bass. Sounds good here. All right, cool. Thanks, Dylan. But like I said, guys, if for some reason it sounds too loud, too quiet, just let me know. So this is the Jacka team. As the movie looks slightly more cinematic than the show. Her name's Karen, but she's not a Karen, which is good. Mm. So, fun fact about Jacka, they're all cyborgs. Also, yes, the earlier series are much more military themed than later series. Most of the original series are like, yeah, they're all part of some kind of government organization. Yep, the bad guys organization is just called crime. Kamen Rider V3, which is another series. Kinkaida. Kamen Rider Amazon. So all these series were all created by Shotaro Ishimori. So yeah. So I guess that means that these all take place in the same universe, at least at the moment. That kind of ties into the topic of tonight, which is why part of the reason why I wanted to show this particular film. Mhm. I do like how the one guy's helmet is basically just the Death Star. Isn't it nice to see a movie that's just all practical effects? No over usage on CGI. The good old days of cinema. Oh, who is that? I know, but you guys don't. She's a Go Ranger. Oh my goodness. Mm. Oh yeah, and that gerbil or hamster, whatever it is, talks. Why not? Why not? You know? Do you think the good guys will win? I think so. Yeah, pretty sure dropping a hydrogen bomb is probably pretty bad. If I had to guess. Not piggy. Yeah, it's how they transform. They just turn around real fast. It's the 70s. You got to cut corners somewhere. Oh yeah, and it's also super. Also, the way that Jekka transforms is also super impractical because they have to get into these strengthening capsules every time. They don't have like wrist things. It's just oh, we got to transform. We got to get into these capsules. I don't know. Super impractical. There's the Go Rangers. They're teaming up, guys. They're teaming up. Made in the 70s, you say? What? What are they doing? I don't know how they did it, but they did it. Yeah, this is Go Rangers Final Attack. I think it's cool. This is the main theme of Go Ranger. Just FYI. What? It was him the whole time. He just immediately blows up. God, it's so cheesy. I love it. My claw doesn't work. See, I told you it was short. Let's go back to the chatting screen here. Turn the Power Ranger. copyright-free music back on. All right. So, yeah, that was Jacka versus Go Ranger. Not the first Sentai movie, but the first ever team-up Sentai movie. What are your thoughts on it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know why you would hate it. What's there to hate? It was glorious. It was the most amazing thing. No, it is an important part of history, being the first ever team-up movie between two Sentai series. Especially since Jacka was not super popular. But, you know, obviously it was popular enough to get a movie. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. And yeah, it's from the 70s. It's super cheesy. And yeah, I think like this probably aired in a movie theater with like other stuff, which is why it's only like 24 minutes. I feel like even in 1970 whatever, it would it would still be kind of a ripoff if you're paying a ticket price to go watch a movie that's only 24 minutes long, and it's like, all right, it's been 24 minutes, get the hell out of the theater, you know, but in Japanese. um, but yeah, well, you know, I wanted to show that one. One, like I said, it's an important part of Sentai history, which makes it an important part of Power Rangers history. And two, it also kind of ties into, loosely ties into the topic of the night, which is why continuity in Power Rangers does not matter. That is the topic of the evening. We know, Steve, we know. I know. I'm waiting for you guys to chime in, damn it. Somebody watch this freaking stream, for God's sakes. Otherwise, it's just me talking for 3 hours. I mean, it's still going to be me talking for 3 hours, but also me reading what you guys write. That's different. Let's go back to this one. Cut to this, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to have, like, slightly more visual aids to make this, like, slightly more interesting. Like, oh, look at it. Look at me. I know how to show a web browser while we're live. Isn't that cool? I know everybody else in the world already does this, but I can do it too now. Blah, 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 blah. You just Google a bunch of random pictures, Steve. Not necessarily random. Again, they kind of... It all paints a picture. It all paints a picture there. So yeah, so if you notice in the lovely special that we just watched, you notice that not only is Jack and Go Ranger team up, but they also mention other characters from other series, Kamen Rider V3, Kincaida, and Kamen Rider Amazon, or Amazon Rider, whatever the hell you want to call them, which were all series that came out around the same time in the 70s, all created by Shotaro Ishimori. Shotaro Ishimori didn't have anything to do with Sentai after Jacka, but I believe he was involved in Kamen Rider up until he passed away in the late 90s, I believe. If I'm wrong on that, I apologize, but I believe that is the case. You know, it's like, you know, but do these shows really all take place in the same universe? Yes and no. Yes and no. Because if they all took place in the same universe, you'd think there would be, you know, a lot more team-ups, a lot more crossover stuff, you know, especially with Super Sentai. I mean, it's all Japan. Japan, you know, I'm not going to say Japan's like a ginormous country, but it's not the biggest country in the world either. So if a bunch of shit was going on, you know, you'd think that there'd be some overlap here or there between these characters. But it's fun. It's fun to see team-ups. It's fun to see characters from other shows, come together to fight, a common enemy. It's just fun. It doesn't have to make a whole lot of sense. It's just fun. It's fun for me to watch. It's fun for you to watch. It's fun who's ever writing this, being a showrunner, producing it, directing it. It's fun for them to come up with fun ideas. How do we get these guys to team up? What can they do together? Are they gonna battle each other? If so, why? What is the villain? Is it going to be a new villain? Or is it going to be, an old villain coming back from a previous show? The sky's the limit. So yeah, continuity in Power Rangers. Continuity in Power Rangers. Where's the Power Ranger picture? There it is. Okay. So, throughout my life, throughout the life of thine internet, as people have grown and evolved and all get your own YouTube channels, your own TikTok channels, your own social media outlets where you're putting out videos about stuff that you love, stuff that you find interesting, stuff that you want to talk about, whether or not it be the Star Wars, the Star Trek, the Marvel movies. There's a new Marvel out and it's supposed to be crazy. That's a line from the movie Friendship. You haven't seen it? Watch it. It's good. The DCs. Whatever big franchise, you want to talk to. Those are kind of the big ones. And Power Rangers is one of those. A little bit more of a niche. Power Rangers. There was a time back in the early 90s where it was very much at the height of the zeitgeist of pop culture, but then it kind of thinned its way out, kind of became a, is that still on kind of show? And unless you were like a hardcore fan, you've still paid attention to it. If you were just like someone who watched it when you were a kid, you probably only really remember like Mighty Morphin and then up to, I don't know, In Space, something like that. But people grow up, people, like I said, get their YouTube channels, and I always see like kind of the same topics kind of show up on YouTube, on TikTok, on, whatever, everyone always makes the same like stupid jokes like, oh, what does the villain do when the Megazord is coming together? Are they just standing there? Why don't they attack them? And it's just like, because it's cool to see the Megazord come together. All right, that was an exciting thing to see as a kid. Every time you saw all the dinosaur Zords come together to form the Megazord, it was exciting. They had that cool like rock music playing, and it's like, well, what was the villain doing? And it's like, who cares? Power Rangers is not realistic. Power Rangers is not reality. It is a TV show. And more importantly, it is, like I said before, a show made for children. For the youngins. I'm not sure like what the youngest possible age to watch Power Rangers. Maybe like 5. I don't know. Somewhere around there. I feel like a 2-year-old would be way too young for it. I'd say around like 4 or 5-ish probably. Probably a good place to start. I've seen a lot of people, make like the same thing. How come Power Rangers are always young people? How come how come you never see their parents? How come you never see, why is there always a new team every year? Something fell over behind me. Well, I'll get that later. I try to stand stuff up, but then it's like any mild vibration and it falls over. So I'm going to let you in on, there's a lot of inconsistencies in Power Rangers. There's a lot of things that don't make sense. There's a lot of continuity issues with Power Rangers, but The reason why they don't really matter is the main point is it's a show written for children, and the writers did not really care. Don't really care. That is the answer to any plot hole, any inconsistency. Well, it would make sense that it would be this year, but but because they say this, and it's just like whatever. Doesn't matter if it says several years later, but then the next season says that it's this year, but the events of last season still technically happen. But it, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter in any way, shape, or form. Super Sentai and Kamen Rider are in the same boat as well. They both started off very simple ideas. I know I talk about Super Sentai and like, isn't this a Power Rangers discussion? It all ties together. It all ties together. It's all connected. There's the strings that connect it. It's all It's not holding on by a thread. They make sense. When something like a Kamen Rider Super Sentai started in the 70s, they're never necessarily meant to become big franchises. Both Super Sentai and the original Kamen Rider. Well, Kamen Rider came out first, but both of those series ran for a pretty long time. Well, not super long, maybe like 3 years each or something. Like the original the original Go Ranger, cut back to Go Ranger while I'm talking about it, is 84 episodes long. It did not air 84 episodes, all, in a, well, one after another, it was like 3 seasons, I'm sure there was a summer break, and then it came back and, whenever, in the fall or whatever, when TV shows air. It aired for 3 full years, all right? 3 years that people, got to, people tuned in, got to know these characters, even though they're not super complicated characters, got to love the costumes, the attacks, the bad guys, all that fun stuff. Same thing with Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider is like 98 episodes, I believe. Super long, super long, but super popular. And then these shows come to an end, and it's like, well, what do you do? You can't just keep it going. You can't keep these things going for too long, because then eventually they're going to overstay their welcome and, get stale. But you don't want to get rid of it entirely. So it's like, how do you have your cake and eat it too? Well, what you do is you try to come up with something different. Something different but the same. A la Jacka, a la Power Rangers Zeo. I don't think I have a picture of Power Rangers Zeo here. We're gonna bring one up, damn it. Watch as Steve awkwardly types things in. Oh, you watch. People are texting me. You ever been in like a group text that they're talking about something that you have nothing to do with, and you're just like, oh my god, stop sending messages. It's annoying. Nah, I love my friends. Yeah. I'll go with this picture. Yeah, good quality. Good quality picture. You go from, I know there was, Alien Rangers, but, the biggie one was going from, Mighty Morphin to Zeo. It's like, we're not gonna end this show, but we gotta do something to change it because it's starting to get a little bit stale. So, what do? You gotta change it. Where are the changes coming? Even in, regular Mighty Morphin, Where's the Mighty Morphin? I don't have any of these labeled, so I'm just like awkwardly cutting around them. Like I said, even with like regular Mighty Morphin aired for 3 seasons. Like, 3 years. That's a pretty long time, but each season they knew, like, okay, like, we got to change it up. Season 2 introduced Lord Zed, a much more threatening villain. Green Ranger became the White Ranger. They got new Zords. But it was still Mighty Morphin. It was still Angel Grove. It was still those characters until, obviously, some actors got swapped out. Yeah, so it changed, but it still changed. It still held on to enough stuff that was new that that's held up to the original stuff enough that you can still watch it, you can still enjoy it. But it's like, okay, what do we do now? Well, we can't just keep having them eat Mighty Morphin. Let's adapt them into something else, but we'll have a transition where they get the Zeo Crystal. Power coins get destroyed. They get the Zeo Crystal. Boom. New powers. Still a lot of the same cast, but, different enough that it's fine. Yeah. But how do they come back as Mighty Morphin in later seasons? How does that happen? Because it's cool. Where's the hell's the damn Mighty Morphin one? I keep forgetting where they are. Again, because it's cool, because it's fun to see these original guys. Like, it's never explained in like the Once and Always 30th anniversary special. Like, how did Billy get his powers back? How did Zach get his weren't the Mighty Morphin powers completely destroyed? It's like, Morphin Grid, Morphin Grid. Morphin Grid can just give people their powers back. Whatever. It don't matter. None of this really matters. But yeah, like, you have to kind of think of, obviously, Power Rangers, had a good amount of continuity up until, like, Lost Galaxy, which I don't think I even have a picture of anyway. Let's pull up Lost Galaxy. Let's just awkwardly type stuff in. Lost Galaxy. Again, if you guys are watching and you want to weigh in on anything, please do. I will not stop you guys. In fact, I encourage it. Look at it. Look at Lost Galaxy. Yeah. Stupid ad blocker. Alright. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, it got to a certain point where, Power Rangers, like, Mighty Morphin in space, yes, is basically one continuous story. And after that, it's like, it kind of came to an end, but not really, because it was still popular. So it's like, hey, let's do something different. Let's introduce a whole new cast of characters. I saw a couple of things hanging around, like the mega ship, and you see Alpha 6, you see Bulk and Professor Phenomenus occasionally, but for the most part, Lost Galaxy is pretty much like its own, like, reboot. It's almost like Power Rangers: The Next Generation. I'm here, but I'm playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Well, damn it, David, watch me instead. I'm just kidding, dude. Do whatever you want. I'm kidding. God, I need to. I'm listening though. I know you are. I'm just messing with you. All good, buddy. Don't stick your tongue out at me, even if it's in an emoji. I'm just kidding. I am basically looking down. I made a little, like, Google Doc of just, like, not like line for line what I'm gonna say tonight, but just like little points to kind of to touch on, so I'm not just sitting here being like, I'm gonna talk about this, but I didn't rehearse, so I'm just gonna ramble and hope that what I say makes sense at the end of this. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. But yeah, I see people just kind of point stuff at, like, top 10 things about Power Rangers that make no sense, and a lot of it is just, yeah, like I said, the dumb stuff that everyone makes fun of. Oh, what do the bad guys do when, how come they're always young people? How come there's always five? Like, how? It's just like, because that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Like, you almost have to think of each season of Power Rangers, and again, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, as basically their own little universe. Their own little universe. You know? Yes, I know, like, yes, I know, like, characters come back, and, there's team-ups and all that stuff. Whatever. I'll get to that in a minute, but that's kind of, each season is basically its own thing. Up until you get to once you get to a certain point, like I said, Lost Galaxy, it all basically it's its own thing. Like if you really break down like the universe of Power Rangers, if you are to think of it as one big universe, it makes absolutely no sense. It's all over the place in terms of like powers and abilities. It's like you have one season where it's like they have dinosaur powers. You have another season where they're samurai. You have another season where they're wizards. You have another season where they have car powers. You have another season where they're ninjas. What else I got here? Yeah, I'll bring up a couple other of these later. I don't even know what the hell these guys were. I watched this whole series, and I didn't really, and I don't remember a whole lot about it. I remember liking it. Don Brothers is weird and interesting. Side note, Don Brothers is weird and interesting. So I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it, but it is definitely weird. So yeah, so each season, basically its own universe, and it's like the enemies can be anywhere from evil aliens, they could be demons, they could be, they could be robots, they could be, um, space pirates, they could be creatures that try to spread pollution, I don't know why I'm clicking onto these, I didn't get any pictures of any villains yet. Yeah, it's all over the place. It's all over the place. It all does not really matter, Also, another thing that they, kind of established in later seasons that, again, doesn't really matter, but is just kind of, like, interesting is, when you think of, like, who is technically the first team of Power Rangers, where's the Mighty Morphin picture? Like, who are the first Power Rangers technically on Earth? You think it's Mighty Morphin, dinosaur powers, but then they establish, that the Samurai Rangers have been around for generations, and even like before that, Dino Fury. Let me pull up Dino Fury. Power Rangers, Dino Fury. I was like, there better be pictures for this. We'll pull up this one. No, I think this is from Super Sentai, but alright, I don't want to pull up Reddit. Go back. Let's try that again. Yeah, it's like, well, these guys, like this guy landed on Earth like millions of years ago, but also got dinosaur powers. And then, you establish, well, Zordon was technically, so that would have predated Zordon, I guess. So it's just this, like, how do you establish a new team every time? Why does every mystical power, always turn them into Power Rangers? Because it's fun. Because that's the series. Like, that's the reason why it exists. So yeah, so that's why, like, I don't really mind a lot of that stuff. Like, I don't really mind plot holes or inconsistencies in Power Rangers. Even when, they are super blatant in one series, like, people watch, Super Mega Force. I mean, Super Mega Force, it's not great. But, there's like the whole thing, how come in one scene Tommy comes back and he's the White Ranger, but then in the Legendary battle he's the Green Ranger? Well, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, because that's what the writers wrote. Because they either didn't think it through, or they didn't care. But but wasn't it cool to see him, rescue the kid with the kid holding on to the Saba? Like, wasn't that cool? Yeah, it was. Was it also cool seeing him return as the Green Ranger in the legendary battle? Damn right it was. It was cool. Why did it happen? Because it was cool. Because you can get away with that in something like Power Rangers. Again, like Power Rangers being a show, a franchise that is, and I'm talking specifically about the show. Like, the comic books are kind of their own thing. There's other stuff that obviously is a little bit more mature. The 2017 movie, I think that was like PG-13. Like, like there have been darker Power Rangers spin-off stuff. Like I said, comic books, the movies, a little bit darker. But I'm talking specifically about the show. I mean, Power Rangers at this point like has its own multiverse. They established that RPM is its own universe, and Dino Charge is its own universe. Yeah, Dino Charge, yeah. I was like, did I say that right? Yeah, Dino Charge is its own universe. Ugh, I feel like texting. Stop texting everybody. Trying to pay attention to what I'm looking at. Yeah, people that texting. Yeah, whatever. I'll answer them back after the stream. I'm just so popular, guys. Nah, they're not talking to me. I'm just in a group chat. So I get notified every time anyone posts anything. Yeah, but yeah, Power Rangers basically like has its own multi. So much material, Boom Studio used it for something. Exactly, like I mean that's the cool thing with Boom Studios and like the Power Rangers comic books. Like if you haven't read any of the comic books, I 100% recommend them. The original, I guess, run ended, but now they're doing like Power Rangers Prime, which is kind of like another reboot, different universe, whatever. I haven't read that much of it. I think I read up to like issue 4 or 5. I'm kind of just waiting for the big collections to come out and just read them that way because I like doing that instead of getting the individual comic books. But anyway, like, yeah, so the comic books did a wonderful job of taking everything that you know and love about the Power Rangers and expanding on it. Expanding it on a way that is interesting and satisfying, and they fleshed out the characters. They gave the characters, more interpersonal drama, more, external drama, with stuff dealing with their parents or dealing with, the relationships and more deeper stuff though, which is awesome. But the comic book universe is also like its own thing. Basic at the it's not canon to the show. I know there's been comic books that have tied into the show. You got what was it? Power of Pink, Soul of the Dragon. What was the one with there was the Time Force one. I forget what that one was called, but there was like Time Force 1 takes place after Time Force and after Hyperforce. That's another thing. Hyperforce, the online role-playing game. Like that's its own thing, like it's that even tied more into the comic books than the show, really. But yeah, like that stuff can all tie together, and that's fine. But like I said, like it, when they threw out, Power, at the beginning, they just kind of threw out, stuff. Morphing Grid. They do say Morphing Masters. I think in one episode of I think the first season. I don't remember which episode they say in it, but they do throw out like I said, they throw out Morphing Grid. They throw out Morphing Masters and all this stuff, and it's just kind of it doesn't really mean anything. It's just like, oh, you guys are connected to the Morphing Grid. What's that? Connects to use it to use your powers. But they did flush it out later. Which they could do in later seasons, which was fine. Yeah, and I don't know. What other notes do I have here? So yeah, that's how I but anyway, that's how I kind of view it is, each season of Power Rangers, its own universe. Like I said, the entire Power Rangers universe, if you were to actually look at it realistically, doesn't make any sense. Every single year, there is some kind of new threat to Earth, and just five, either teenagers or young adults are chosen or find powers. They become Power Rangers for a year. They defeat the threat. Earth is safe again. And then, a few months later, there's a new threat. And then another group of people. But it's like, what happened to the last group? What are they doing now? And it's just like, that's just how it is. That's how these shows are structured, Doesn't have to make sense. Like I said, it also keeps, you also got to keep in mind that the audience for these shows are children, Children, they might have been too young to see, like, the past few seasons, but if they, if the first season they watch is, I don't know, pick one. Pick one at random here. Ninja Storm, if that was the first season they ever saw, they could jump into it. They can understand what's going on. They're not going to be confused. It's not like you have to. It's not like to understand Ninja Storm. I'm just throwing out Ninja Storm as an example. You have to have watched, Mighty Morphin to, Wild Force to completely understand it. No, you can just watch Ninja Storm completely as its own thing, its own series, enjoy it, and never watch another Power Ranger series ever again. And you won't, like, I'm not going to say you won't miss anything, but you will have gotten a satisfying enough story, kind of same thing with Dino Fury. I mean, that one does tie into the older series. Oh, what else we got? Samurai. You could watch Samurai, and that would be its own thing. Again, just depends. Mystic Force, another one. Those other two were bad examples. I'm just clicking on stuff. But yeah, Mystic Force is another one. That's what I kind of liked a lot about the later seasons, the Disney seasons. I don't know how you guys feel about the Disney series when Disney took it over. I mean, Disney's taking it over again. That's a whole nother topic. Oh God, where are my notes? Open up phone. I have notes, damn it, that I want to go over. It's only 9:20. I gotta keep talking until 11. And I can end this. I can end this nightmare that I started for myself. What? Did I say that out loud? No, I'm kidding. I'm having fun. I love talking about that. I could talk about Power Rangers and Super Sentai and this shit all day. This is my sports. You try to talk to sports about me, I have no freaking idea what you're talking about. Unless if you're talking to me about sports and it's not the movie Space Jam, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But yeah, Power Rangers I could talk to all the livelong day, and it's glorious. David knows it. David's a Power Ranger fan. I'm assuming other people that are watching this are also Power Rangers fans to some extent. But yeah. Like I said, the Disney seasons, what I liked about them is they very much felt more like their own things. They did a good job of that. The problem with the Disney seasons was just that Disney didn't really advertise or market Power Rangers all that much. It just kind of became a, oh, is that still on kind of show. I mean, they must have had enough ratings to keep it going. I mean, I think Power Rangers technically got canceled when RPM came out, before it came out, but for whatever reason, Germany really liked RPM, and that's what saved it. I don't know, the exact details. That's just what I've heard. And then, yeah, it could keep going from there. And, even though technically the main continuity of Power Rangers has ended, Disney's making a new series, which I'm cautiously optimistic about. We'll see how that goes. That's another thing I do want to bring up in a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's the cool thing is, each season can just feel like its own thing, once you get past, Turbo and In Space and, even kind of Lost Galaxy. Lost Galaxy, like I said, is basically its own thing, but it does have, stuff from, In Space kind of carries over. But yeah, once you get to like Lightspeed Rescue, yeah, then it is basically then it's at the full on point of each season is its own thing. Each season is its own basically its own universe. There's a new threat to Earth. You know, there's either some organization or some wizard or some being that's like, yeah, you gotta make these people Power Rangers and you gotta fight these guys for a year and blah 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 blah. Yeah, it all works. It all works, which is fine. Which is fine. Like I said, it doesn't. That's why it doesn't have to make sense. Like, well, what year is it in Power Ranger time? I think like a year in Power Ranger time is like 900 days because if you really think, no, cut all that shit out, you know. any BS like I'm sure there's thousands of like fan theories about how everything actually makes sense. I don't know. I don't really care. This is not the franchise for that. Like, honestly, like, not the franchise for that. It does not matter. It does not matter. Uh, I'm not going to say that applies to every single franchise. You know, I would say, like, you know, franchises that are taken a little bit more seriously, like a Star Trek or, you know, Star Wars to a certain extent. Yeah, continuity matters. You know, that's all the same universe. You know, the second you start throwing out stuff that immediately contradicts something that happened in either in an earlier movie, that even if it takes place like before or after that, it just is like, oh, you messed it up. You messed it up. Now nothing makes sense, and the nerds go crazy online and they complain about it. We've all seen it. We've all seen it. We've all done it too. I haven't, but I've thought it. But yeah, I just, to me, like, I don't really see, like, I mean, I just don't really think it's a big deal with Power Rangers. It's just like, no, it's like each season's its own thing. You have team up specials, you have anniversary specials, when it comes to like the team up and the anniversary specials, those are for us. You know, those are for us. It is so cool to see like older characters come back. It is cool to see like teams like teaming up. I think I haven't. Yeah. Well, whatever. Yeah. This one and this one teamed up. You guys get what I mean. Like, it's always cool to have that team up special. You know, it's cool to see older characters come back. It's cool to see them morph together. It's cool to see them fight, alongside each other. It's cool. It's fun for us. Whether or not it actually makes sense in the continuity. Stop closing phone. I need you open. Stream didn't crash, did it? I think I just accidentally closed out of it myself. Yeah. They're for the fans. Like, watching the 30th anniversary special. Here, let's pull up a visual aid of that. There's something on the screen. I'm trying to use visual aids more in these streams to make it slightly more interesting. Power Range Gertz. No Rick Gertz. Power Rangers once. It's not one. I don't know why it's called Once and Forever. It's wrong. That's wrong. Yeah. Something like that. Like, that was just fun and interesting. It's like, how do we bring back Rita? Like, isn't Rita, like, not dead, but, like, Rita was purged of evil. So it's like, how do we get that back? Like, we can't get, we can't get the original actress who played Rita because that was Japanese footage and she passed away. And we can't get, I guess the woman who played her in the show when they actually like were shooting American footage. And then it's like, well, we could get the voice actress back, but how do we bring her back? She's a robot. Bam. And then yeah, it's just like, how are they still, yeah, like, didn't Billy leave for Aquitar? Like, he said he wasn't coming back. I guess he came back at some point. It's been 30 years. been 30 years. You can assume that he eventually came back, and I guess he started his own company. That's perfectly plausible. Like, you know, it's just you just kind of throw that out there, and it's like, okay, that's fine for this universe. That's fine. We don't need We don't need to hear every single detail of what happened between you know, him saying he's gonna stay on Aquatar and then come back like for this. How is he the Blue Ranger again? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The fact for this is that he's the Blue Ranger again. We get to see Zack as the Black Ranger. We do technically get to see the original Rangers, even though like those actors didn't come back and Twee sadly passed away. But you know, semantics. You know, it doesn't matter. It was fun to see these characters again. It was fun to see Kat. It was fun to see Rocky again. I like the character of Min. It was cool to see her become the new Yellow Ranger. Like, it was just fun. Like, you don't need to go into so much crazy detail on how all that stuff come together, because it doesn't matter. What matters is that it happened. Yeah. Like, this is, like, Once and Always was for us, you know? I mean, yes, like, you know, Netflix makes money, Hasbro makes money, yeah, but, you know, if it weren't for us, the fans, we would not have gotten this. Okay? Clearly, people see that this still has an audience. You know, people want to see it. People like these original characters. You know, we're going to bring them back. Like, they realized it. They realized it. They didn't realize it here. That's for damn sure. They messed up here. Oh, I'm pulling up something else. I could cut to something else while I'm typing stuff, but whatever. You guys are going to suffer while I type stuff. Power Rangers, Legend. That's Legend. Theory Battle. Whatever. I'll pull up pictures. I'm trying to find a good one. This one works for now. Yeah, this was not good. This could have been amazing. But it wasn't. Which brings me to another topic. I do have notes written down. They're vague. They're not vague, but they're just simple. So, yeah. So when I say continuity doesn't matter, plot holes don't really matter all that much. What makes or breaks a season of Power Rangers? Not the series overall, but what makes or breaks a season of Power Rangers? To me, and this is just my opinion, like if you guys have a different opinion, you're more than welcome to share it in the chat. In fact, again, encourage it. David shared one thought. Dylan was watching, but I think he's I think he left. Anyone else who's watching on Twitch or TikTok, again, please, please share your thoughts. What makes or breaks a season or series of Power Rangers, whatever you want to call it, is the characters. That is the crucial aspect of what makes a good season of Power Rangers. I'm not gonna say that's the only aspect, but that is a very crucial one. Because like some of them just do not have good characters, and it doesn't really matter how cool their weapons are, how cool their suits are, how cool the Megazord is. If the characters are just not interesting or badly written, it's not a good, it's to me that's kind of like a fail. I mean, there's an obvious example of that, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to talk briefly about Lightspeed Rescue, the writing and the directing. The writing and directing, yes, that is also another, which kind of ties into characters, because obviously writing and directing is what's going to help bring out those characters. Obviously, yes, actors can bring out a character. Yes, they have to bring out a character. Duh, that's obvious. Well, duh, Steve. They're the one playing the character. Yeah, I know. I'm making my point. I realized what I said didn't make sense, so I corrected myself. Yeah, writing, directing, also a big thing. I mean, that's obviously that's the case with any TV show, any movie. You know, because I mean, actors can only do so much. I mean, if you got a bad script and you got, you know, poor direction, or even if you have great direction and you still have a bad script, I mean, it's, you know, actors can only do so much, you know. And with a thing like Power Rangers, they're not really given they're not really given much creative control. You know, Power Rangers is basically just here, you're feeling this, say this line, do this thing, we get it, okay, cool, cut. Whether or not it makes sense or not. Why I'm bringing up Lightspeed Rescue is I feel like Lightspeed Rescue kind of suffers from this. I know a lot of people like Lightspeed Rescue. If that is your favorite season or one of your favorite seasons, that's awesome. Again, no judgment. I don't care, but Lightspeed Rescue is not one of my favorite seasons. I'm not going to say that I flat out hate it, but it is a season that I am not a fan of. Don't really like that much, and to me, it's just kind of the characters, especially the Power Ranger characters in this particular season, to me are just not interesting. Not interesting and not fleshed out enough where I give a shit about any of them. They're very, very basic. The problem is they kind of just, like, the characters are all basically strangers that are essentially just kind of pulled off the street. I mean, yes, they all have their particular set of skills, why they're recruited, blah, blah, but they're all strangers. None of them know each other. And it's just like, here, complete strangers, you're Power Rangers now. And, like, there's no real, like, build up to them, like, learning to act as a team, you know, becoming friends. It just seems by, like, episode 2 or 3, just suddenly they're all just best friends. And it's like, wait, when did that happen? You know, like, I know, I get it. It's simple. It's a kid show, you know, but I feel like other seasons have done a better job with that. I feel like Lost Galaxy. Where's Lost Galaxy? I feel like Lost Galaxy kind of suffers from this a little bit too, where I'm not a super big fan of Lost Galaxy's Ranger characters. They're a little bit more fleshed out than Lightspeed Rescue, but there's a lot of episodes that are like, you know, they're not really together, like they're like solo episodes, which I guess is good when you're fleshing out a character, but a lot of these a lot of the storylines are taken directly from Ginga Man. And it's like, well, this doesn't really make sense. And it's like, you don't have to completely just copy the same story. You can make up your own story a little bit, you know. But again, this was something where I'm like, all right, these guys were all basically strangers, except for maybe these two. And then again, by like episode 2 or 3, they're all just like best friends, and they're like living together. And I'm just kind of like, I don't feel the bond with them, you know. Whether or not these actors got along off camera and, you know, hung out and all that, I mean, I mean, I hope so. I want people to get along, you know, but, you know, I don't know. I feel like just these two, where's I just feel like kind of these two seasons kind of in particular kind of suffer from not very well fleshed out characters and just not really like gelling that well as characters. I'm still on, right? I'm still live. Twitch didn't crash, did it? Okay. Okay. Somebody's trying to solicit on Twitch. Guess who's getting banned? This mother effer. Where is it? Timeout. And you're banned! Take a break from what I'm talking about to do that. You guys get to see me ban somebody. What were we talking about? Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my main thing, is what makes or breaks a Power Ranger season. Like, I think, you know, obviously Mighty Morphin, like, was 3 seasons, so you got a lot of time to get to know those characters. Time Force. I'll upload a picture of Time Force. I got so many Google tabs open. Whatever. Power Rangers Time Force. That's kind of a cool picture. I have to save that picture for something else. But yeah, Time Force, you know. The reason why Time Force works so well is like all these characters have like really strong motivation. I don't know why this is showing like that. Whatever. All these characters have really strong motivation. You feel the bond between them. Like, you know, these four were all teammates. Wes is trying to, you know, not live in his father's shadow, be his own person. You know, Eric's trying to prove himself. Jen's out for revenge because Rancic killed her fiance. These three, you know, these four are all part of the same teams. They're all backing her. Like, it's good. It's good. It's a little darker, a little more mature. Like, it's good, you know. And I felt the bond and the friendship between those guys. You know, like that one worked for me. So that's why, like, you know, Time Force is a well-written, well-directed, well-made season. And, you know, it just to me that it just shines above, you know, shines above this, and especially this, which just like even Eric or not the Eric, sorry, Ryan, the Titanium Ranger, which, you know, it was cool to see an American-made Ranger, but then they realized, oh, well, we can't do anything with this guy because he's not in any of the Sentai footage, so he can't morph because he's got a snake tattoo. He leaves. You don't see him again until like the end of the series. And it's like, well, why even introduce him if you're going to do that? I don't know. Again, no offense to any actors. I'm not shitting on any actors. I'm not saying any actors are bad actors. Anything like that. I'm talking specifically about characters. You know, when I say I don't like a character, that doesn't mean I don't like an actor. I've seen interviews with these actors. They all seem nice. They all seem like cool people. If I saw them at a convention, I'd probably get their autograph and, you know, something, you know. I wouldn't be like, how you doing? They wouldn't be like, how you doing? I'd be like, go yourself. No, never do that. Never do that. They're nice people. You know, don't shit on actors. Where's the Megaforce picture? The track of all these. Larger Steve awkwardly looks for stuff. I'll pull this one up. You got the Mega Forces, the Super Mega Force, which is, you know, Super Mega Force is probably the most hated season of all time. And by probably, I mean I know some people that do like it, and again, if you like it, it's fine, no judgment, but Mega Force and especially Super Mega Force have a ton of issues with that, with characters that are very poorly written, very poorly developed, bad writing. The dialogue in Super Mega Force is awful. It sounds like Samurai Cop level dialogue, like dialogue that was written by someone who doesn't speak English and was not like changed. I feel bad saying that, but it's kind of true. There's just some dialogue in that series that's just so bad. And yeah, they didn't flesh out these characters. They didn't really take the time to really honor Power Rangers in this season. Like, yes, they had some people come back. Yes, they had the legendary battle. They had the footage of them, you know, being able to use older Ranger powers, which was cool, but it was like, to what end though? Like, it didn't really, you know, you didn't feel like they really honored the legacy. You didn't feel that nostalgia, that longevity of this series. You just didn't feel that. They didn't capture it. They should have taken their time, but yeah, whatever. It's beating a dead horse. I do want to have a stream specifically talking about Super Mega Force at some point. Not a stream just like shitting on it because I don't want to be that guy. This was the worst thing ever. It ruined my childhood. I was so angry. Meh. No, I'm not gonna be that guy. I'd probably just have like probably the same thing I do with this is just make some notes, have some bullet points, be like, hey, why did Super Mega Force not work? You know? Go over points, talk about it for a few hours. God, a few hours. Got to find a lot of stuff to say. And then, yeah, like, I would rather have kind of like a discussion about it than just being like, it sucked. This actor was so bad. He should die. It's like, no. That's terrible. Don't say that. I'm making fun of people. Not making fun of anyone in particular, but just, you know, you scroll through YouTube, you scroll through social media, you see that stuff, and it's just like, why are you so angry? Why is this, like, this was not a personal, just because something was bad doesn't mean it was a personal attack against you specifically. I'm going to go on this actor's social media, and I'm going to yell at them and say how shitty of an actor they are. It's like, why? You're the bully in that situation. Whatever. I'm going off in a different direction. It's like you're the bully in that situation. Like you're not the good guy. You're the ass when you do that shit. We'll talk about that more at a later time. But yeah, time we got left. Still got about an hour and 15 minutes left. What else do I want to talk about? I think I've almost covered all my points. I should have written down more shit. I was hoping people would chime in, but nobody's chiming in. I don't know. If you guys are watching this in the future and on YouTube or whatever, please chime in. Leave some comments, man. Like keep it friendly, keep it discussionary. Please don't start getting angry and trolling and shitting on stuff, you know. I find it's funny that I'm talking about a children's show and I keep saying the word shit, but whatever. The stream is for adults, 18 and older, so it's okay. Oh, man. Yeah, I should have written down more bullet points. I'm getting, like, close to the end. Like, what do I talk about for, like, another hour and 15 minutes? Yeah. Yeah, kind of the last kind of big point that I wanted to make was we have a new Power Rangers series coming out on Disney Plus. Hopefully it's coming out. Hopefully it doesn't fall through. Hopefully it doesn't get canceled. Something like that. I don't know anything more than any of you guys know. There's always going to be rumors. There's always going to be speculation. Oh, it's going to be a complete reboot. Oh, they're going to do this. I don't know. I don't know a damn thing until Disney, Hasbro, whoever comes out with something official, you know, a trailer, a synopsis, like whatever. Until then, it's just a bunch of random people on the internet, you know, speculating stuff, and then other people believing it, even though it's like there's no facts to back up. It's all speculation. It's all BS. I don't pay attention to BS. I'm not going to watch your AI-generated trailer for what you think the new Power Rangers series is going to be. You know, the Red Ranger's going to be a woman. I mean, maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. We'll see. No way for us to know. But the thing that I wanted to make the point that I wanted to make is, you know, I don't really care if it's its own universe, this new reboot. I don't care. They've already established there's a multiverse in Power Rangers. You can just think of it as that. This is another universe. Our Power Rangers universe still exists, even though that universe doesn't make sense either, but that one still exists out there. This is a new one. You know, the new multiverse that you're watching, a la Marvel. And yeah, like, I mean, first of all, we can talk about this more in depth at a later time, but like, I'm okay with really whatever direction they want to go, as long as they don't shit on, you know, what makes Power Rangers Power Rangers. The Power Rangers have to be good guys. There has to be bad guys. You can mature it up. You can have, you know, them dealing with interpersonal stuff. You can have things be more, not just black and white, not just, oh, we got to defeat a villain of the week, and just bing, bang, boom, everything's back to normal. You can have them dealing with tougher situations where they can have tougher, when they have to make hard choices, and, you can have all that stuff, but at the end of the day, they still have to be, good guys. But anyway, that's, I'm okay with that. I am also okay with if Disney, Disney or whoever, if this new series comes out, and if it is a successful series, a lot of people tune in, new fans and old fans alike, and everybody likes it, and it gets good ratings. I don't know how ratings work with streaming services. I mean, obviously people, pay for them and, different tiers or whatever, but, like, I don't know, like you measure ratings on a TV show that airs on TV because you have like Nielsen boxes or, you can see, oh, a lot of people are tuning in at this time to watch this, but I don't know how you do that with streaming if there's a way to see like, who's watching it, when and where. But, yeah, I keep rambling, but anyway, I'm rambling here. Yeah. Go full John Candy with that. But if this new series comes out, let's just say this, like, for the sake of argument, this new Power Ranger series comes out, and it's a major success, like The Mandalorian. It comes out, and everyone loves it like they love the Mandalorian, just as an example of that. And you're like, oh my god, Power Rangers is back. Power Rangers is back, and it's cooler, and it's a little bit different, and, and they're, and then, Disney gets those dollar signs in their eyes. Ping. I can't do the noise, but you know what I mean. And they're like, "Ooh, well, let's treat this the same way we've treated Star Wars and Marvel with making a bunch of new series and spin-offs of current series." Honestly, when it comes to Power Rangers, I am perfectly okay with them doing that. For basically the reasons that I have gone over with you guys in this stream. Like I said, continuity does not really matter in Power Rangers. You can go pretty much any direction, like I said, as long as you don't kill the core concept of what makes it work. But if they make a successful series, they're like, hey, what if we made something different? What if we, came up with a different, brought another cast? Or, hey, what if we went back to the main universe and we brought back, legacy characters, it gave them their own solo spin-off. I mean, I think we all liked I think most people like Min from the Mighty Morphin reboot, or Mighty Morphin Once and Always. Like, hey, you could bring that actor back. You could give her like a solo series, quick 6-episode limited series on Disney Plus. You could totally do that. Have some cameos by David Yost and Walter Jones or whoever, you would totally do that. Like that, like I said, that is the best thing, you want to bring back like, older actors and you could make an animated series. A lot of people have been wanting like an animated series for Power Rangers. We've gotten anime that has been Power Rangers or Super Sentai inspired, but never anything like official. So you could totally do that. I mean, you could go a lot of directions. Like you honestly could. I mean, again, it's like same rules applies. You need good writing and directing. You need good showrunners. Like you don't just want to crap stuff out that doesn't make sense. There is super, pandering or just, I'm not going to say woke because that's stupid, but that are like, yeah, like you could go in different directions. You could have characters that are fleshed out, that are interesting, and you could have them team up. You could have a team up thing, a la Defenders, a la Avengers. You could do a lot of stuff. I mean, like, there's a reason why Super Sentai has been around for 50 years. There's a reason why Power Rangers has been around for over 30 years because unlike stuff like a Star Wars or like a Star Trek or these other franchises, like you can only do so much with Star Wars. Like that universe is so limited It's just like, you have to have the same shit. You gotta have Jedis, you gotta have Stormtroopers, you gotta have the Sith, and you gotta have, it's like, you can't really do too much. You can't really do too much. You can do stories in that universe, but they all are going to relate back to, like, they're always going to relate back to the original movies. Like, there's no getting around that. Star Trek is very, based in real science, like, and that's an important thing, even though I think that's pretty much ignored in the newer shows. But with Power Rangers, like I said, Power Rangers is all over the place. You could have it all. You could have one season that everything is based completely in science. You could have a season where's Mystic Force. You could have a season that is all magic. Everything's magical. Established magic exists for this series. Cool. Again, car powers. They got the powers of frickin' cars. Yeah, can do that. Like I said, that's what makes it magical. Is each series has similar things. There's always 5, 6 characters. There's usually a mentor character or like a sidekick character that helps them out. They're always going to have some kind of giant robot, Megazord, whatever. There's always going to be those staples, but again, you can have different characters. The thing that is going to make or break it is the characters, and if the characters are interesting, and you're good at making interesting and unique characters, you can pull it off. You can have multiple series. I wouldn't recommend like multiple series coming out a year, which is kind of what they were doing with like Marvel and Star Wars, and I think that's what kind of killed it. But if they took their time and they had like maybe one series come out each year, it could work. It could work. I would not be I would not be super overwhelmed by it. Like I said, keep it to one series a year. Don't make a bunch of stuff come out the same year. That's when it gets all gobbledygooky, and and you have stuff that comes out that is not a completely fleshed out idea. Or you're like, we're really banking on that this person likes this, that people like this character, even though no one said they like this character, but we're giving them their own show. And it's like, wow, that was 8 hours of a character I didn't give a shit about. Of characters I didn't give a shit about. Thanks Disney. Thanks for wasting my time. But it's okay, because Daredevil shows up at one point. Isn't that cool? It's like, yep, Daredevil showed up for 2 seconds. That makes us all worthwhile. I'm talking about the show Echo that came out on Disney Plus, about the character that was in Hawkeye. It was like the deaf character that I guess worked for Wilson Fisk. And they were like, let's give her her own show. And it's like, I didn't really care enough about this character to give his own. Whatever. Again, it's, I don't know. I feel like there'd be a lot more leeway with Power Rangers to pull that off. Because there is very little continuity. You can't make a new Star Trek or Star Wars, series where suddenly they're all, you can make them all Jedi, but you can't have them all suddenly have dinosaur powers. You can't have a Star Trek show where they all have dinosaur powers. Or suddenly everyone in Star Trek is a ninja. Like, it wouldn't work. But in Power Rangers, hey, you can do that. We've had technically 3 series, because technically the Alien Rangers are ninjas, but you can do that. Ninjas, Alien Rangers, Ninja Storm, Ninja Steel. We've had 4 series that they've had dinosaur powers. Alright. Hell, here we go. This was the first one to actually have like a theme. Like, I think this was just like they pull out their weapons from their masks, but like it's not really like a big theme there. But then you get to Jacka, and it's like, what if they were all like playing cards? Wouldn't that be cool? And it's like, yeah, that would be cool. I'd be on board with that. Or yeah, they're all samurai. Like I said, you could make they had the Acolyte, which is all Jedi, but it's like that's kind of a one and done thing. yeah, the sky's kind of the limit. The sky is the limit with Power Rangers. You can go in different direction. Technically, here they're pirates, even though they don't say they're pirates. That's all another issue. Like I said, I want to do maybe not the next Mighty Morphin Monday, but definitely a Mighty Morphin Monday in the future. We will have we can talk about Super Mega Force and why Super Mega Force didn't work. Again, a discussion, not just shitting on it, but a mature discussion. Yeah. 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 Power Rangers, like a lot of things. I mean, people enjoyed it as kids, and, it was popular enough to keep it going. Even Super Sentai. Like I said, Super Sentai has been going on for 50 years. Like, maybe a little bit over 50 years at this point. I think the most recent series that come out is like a celebration of like their 50-year anniversary. Like, oh god, yeah, like freaking oh my god, like Gokaiger was like 35 years, and then like Zen Kaija or whatever it was called, was like, yeah, it was 45 years. So yeah, they're still, they're honoring their legacy, and people have been saying for years, oh, well, Super Sentai lasts because it still airs on TV, and the ratings drop because everybody's watching everything on streaming, and it's like, yeah, they've been saying that shit for like since like 2012, maybe maybe earlier than that, and it's like, yeah, it's still here. Super Sentai is still here. It's still going strong. Power Rangers kind of came to an ending, but you had all these people ranting about how Power Rangers is dead and it's never coming back, and I'm just like, no, there's no way that's true. Like, I can I can acknowledge the fact that it's gonna be like that. We may have a few years where we don't get any new Power Ranger stuff, minus maybe like the comic books and like toys. But yeah, in terms of like the franchise, the movie or TV show franchise just completely going away, no. People recognize when somebody will recognize that this makes money. Yes, it didn't work out with Hasbro and Netflix, but there was, I don't know if the thing with them doing a series on Paramount Plus was an actual like thing that was going to happen, or if that was just speculation. But from what I see, it seems like the Disney Plus thing is moving forward. So to everyone who said Power Rangers is dead, y'all wrong. It's like, what day and age do you live in? Like, they are rebooting everything these days. Everything. Shows that haven't even been canceled or off the air long enough for them to be like nostalgic. Like, I've seen things about them like doing like a Desperate Housewives like revival, and it's like, it doesn't even seem like that was that long ago. I didn't really watch Desperate Housewives, but I was aware of its existence. I was aware of it, as most people were. I don't know. My sister watched it and caught some of it when she was watching it, if we were like in the same place. But other than that, yeah. So yeah, when people say like, oh, Power Rangers is dead, like, no, it's not. Yes, it sucks that the Netflix thing fell through. We were looking forward to the reboot with Netflix. It didn't happen. It sucks, but crying and whining about it on the internet like you're 5 years old. It's just like, come on, people. Like we're us older fans. We're in our 20s, we're in our 30s, maybe in our 40s. Like we got to be a little bit more mature than that. If you're not happy about it, you can make a video talking about why you're not happy about it, but acting like, yeah, I don't like it when people act like when stuff happens with a franchise that they don't like, something bad happens with a franchise that they like, you know, oh, this is a bad movie or a bad episode of a TV show, they take it as like a personal attack on them. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. And they act like they're like so angry, and it's just like, like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? You know, didn't Super Mega Force just piss you off? And it's like, I didn't like it. I wish they would have done better. Like, I wish they would have done it better, absolutely. But I was not crying. I was not angry. I was disappointed, but I moved on with my life. And then, you know, Dino Charge came out, and it was 10 times better than Super Mega Force. And it's like, oh, okay, well, they screwed up, and they learned from their mistakes, or they got a different showrunner, or something happened behind the scenes, and they got better, you know? So it's possible. What am I even talking about anymore? I don't even know. Oh god, I still got 58 minutes to kill. You could end the stream early, Steve. Now, I say I'm on till 11. I'm on till 11. I'm committed to giving you guys at least 3 hours of entertainment. That's my goal. That is my goal for tonight. I was hoping more people would chime in. Someone watch this crap. I'm kidding, it's fine. It's fine, it's fine. I try to advertise this stuff, but it's hard. We're still a fairly small channel, so it's just, I don't know. It's a little bit harder to get our name out there, and it just also just depends on who's available to watch, you know? I mean, it is Monday night, so, you know, people got work, you know, either are working now or, you know, because depending on time zones, or, you know, have work the next day. Maybe there's some TV show on Monday nights that people like to watch. I don't know. People are playing video games. Like David playing his Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I need to play at some point. I played that for a little while, but it was super long, so I was just like, I'm gonna put this aside. I'm gonna move on with my life and watch something else. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. What if I just read this out loud on the stream? No, I'm not going to do that. This book is a recollection and recreation of moments throughout the history of Power Rangers, informed by original interviews conducted by the author with participants and archival interviews, press clippings, and so on. Participants. A complete list of author interviews is available at the back of the book, along with endnotes that include citations as well as additional context and author commentary. So, yeah. That's how they wrote this thing. That's how they wrote this thing. I have not read it, but I saw it like advertised. I was like, ooh, neat. Because I've watched stuff about history of Power Rangers, you know. I've mentioned it before. Toy Bounty Hunters. I do not know them personally in any way, shape, or form, but they made a really good like docu-series on their YouTube page called like the History of Super Sentai and Power Rangers. So I learned a lot from that, and I've like rewatched that multiple times. And you know, it sticks. People, you know, as a kid, like people always, you know, like, oh, you don't remember, you know, stuff for school, but you know, how do you know this? You know, how can you quote this entire episode of The Simpsons? It's like, because I watched it a bunch of times, and it's something that I legitimately like and am interested in. And stuff in the school, depending on the subject, obviously, is stuff that I'm not interested in. Why don't you care about To Kill a Mockingbird? Because I get it. Racism. Bad. You don't gotta tell me that in the whole book. You know, I'm just messing around, guys. Like, I don't care. Oh, God. Headphones are falling over. It's like a cobweb on this thing. Spiders have to, like, make webs on everything I own now. Ugh. Anyhoosin. Yeah. That's the stuff that I like. I still got these sitting here. I haven't moved these at all. just like having them here because they're fun to fiddle with when I'm doing streams. Like when there's like a long cutscene in Final Fantasy 16, I would just fiddle with these. Like, I don't know if you guys can hear them, like, because I'm like all the way over here. Arm's like all the way over here. Like, if I put my arm down here, you guys can't really see it. Like, so I'm fiddling, but you guys can't see it, but you might be able to hear it. You might be like, what's that clicking noise? I don't know. I don't know what you guys... I don't know how sensitive this mic is, how, like, far away something has to be so you can't hear it. I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, I mean, you know, Power Rangers will always be one of my favorite franchises. I'm hoping that, because I don't have any kids at this point in time in my life, I'm hoping someday that I do. If I do have children, I will try to get them into Power Rangers. If they don't like it, if somehow my children are actually into, like, sports, I will support them in that. I don't want your life. But yeah, I have a 5-year-old niece, and I want her to be into Power Rangers. Someday I'll make her sit down and watch, like, Power Rangers. I don't know if I'll start her at Day of the Dumpster or pick, like, a later season that she might connect with more. But I don't know. gotta pass it along. Gotta pass along the legacy of Power Rangers. So I like having my shelf back here. All my weird stuff. I got every season of Power Rangers that they've released on a physical copy of, including the movies, on that shelf. I think the only things I don't have are like I think like the Samurai, like, and Megaforce, like Halloween and Christmas specials they released like separately. Those might be the only physical things that I'm missing, but I'm not really super concerned with getting those. If I find them like on eBay or something and they're like fairly cheap, maybe I'll just snag them. But for right now, I don't. You know, they're just basically clip shows, so I'm not not super worried about not having those in my collection at this point in time. Oh, another thing I wanted to bring up. Any of you guys been rewatching VR Troopers now that it's finally on Tubi? I don't know what took it so long. Like, it was supposed to be on Tubi in like March, and then for whatever reason, it just took forever. I think it finally came out within like the last like week or so. So I was rewatching that. I have the first season on DVD back when it was still like rarely available, but the second season, man, that is the freaking DVDs for season 2 of VR Troopers are so hard to find. You can find like volume like 1 of season 2, but then people are selling it on like eBay for like, I don't know, 100 something bucks, and it's just like, oh my god, this is a ripoff. I know it's rare, but it's like, dude, come on, be reasonable. Be reasonable. When I sell stuff on eBay, I try to be fairly reasonable. You know, I'll go like, you know, 25, 30 bucks, you know, maybe a little bit higher if something's like a little bit rare, but I try not to be like, oh, you want this one movie is 150 bucks. It's like, no one's going to buy it. You know, maybe if you're selling like a Disney, like clamshell, like VHS, people might buy that shit for like, you know, $1,000, but yeah, other stuff, it's like, no, VR Troopers, like, come on, dude, just sell that, you know. I got a bootleg copy of Big Bad Beetleborgs that also has Beetleborgs Metallic. Somebody was selling that on Etsy, so I bought that. I don't even like Big Bad Beetleborgs all that much, but I still wanted to own it. I got B-Fighter and B-Fighter Kabuto, I think that's what it was called. I watched those. Those were good. And then yeah, I know there's Masked Rider, which I don't think was ever released on DVD in America, but I think it was released in like the UK or something. So I don't know. Again, it's like I don't know who owns the rights to that. If they're ever gonna make an official release of that, who the hell knows? neck's hurting. Oh. As soon as I'm done talking to you guys, I'm taking some Advil and some Advil liquid gels, putting on my my neck. I got like a heating pad that you can kind of like, you know, magnet, like kind of goes around your neck. Oh man, sleeping on that thing, man, that is comfortable. You know, turn the heat up. You know, don't turn it up the highest because that would be too much. But like, you know, turn on like, you know, medium. Seems to do the trick. Ugh. Luckily, I do have my monthly chiropractor appointment tomorrow, so yeah, we'll do the adjustments, get my neck all working again. Ugh, yeah. All this sitting and leaning forward. I can't help it. It's like, it's hard to like just sit back and do this. Like I have to lean forward, you know? It's hard to get around. It's like, yeah, you want to do what's like more like, you know, what's going to provide you the best, you know, back support and best posture. But it's like, well, like, you know, it's like I got to move, you know, I got to be able to turn my head, you know, it's like, oh, if you turn your head for too long, that's going to cause neck pain. Yeah, I don't know. Oh man, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I pretty much covered what I wanted to talk about tonight, but like I said, I'm staying on till 11. I'm giving you guys 3 hours entertainment, you know. That is my goal with my streams. My stream, unless I have technical issues that cannot be fixed, like, you know, within like a span of a couple of minutes, then I'll end like a stream early or like won't go on. But if everything's working, I'm not just going to be like, it's like, I ran out of things to talk about. Bye. Oh, ooh, ooh. One, two, The Super Mega Force was not a good series. Sorry, that was dumb. Man, I'm like trying to think like what other newer updates with like Power Rangers or Power Ranger related stuff is coming up. I don't know. Jesus, David, thanks for scaring the crap out of me. David waits for his like perfect moment and then just does like the sound bite like out of nowhere. It's just like, oh my god. Man. You could play video games. Well, I actually moved the monitor. So I decided instead of using the TV in my bedroom, because I gotta turn like as a second monitor when I'm working. I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna put another monitor on my desk. And you know, I could get like a new monitor, but that shit's still kind of expensive. Like, you know, even like cheaper ones are like 50-60 bucks, and I'm like, let's wait till I have a little bit extra money. So I've just been transporting the monitor that's over here that I would watch if I'm playing like a video game, and like I'll put it back before I do this stream on Thursday. But yeah, for right now I'm just using that, and I was like, you know, hey, instead of using a tablet to watch stuff on while I'm working, I can actually use my actual television just the way God intended it. Using a television to watch TV shows? Well, I never. What kind of tomfoolery is this? Yeah, so I started my new helping out with another training class this week, so I'm going to be doing that until I think like the 4th of August. It's only been 1 day, but this group is already like much better than the last group, so that's good. Hopefully they do not get worse. The guy who was running the training kind of like laid down the law, like with this new group, like, hey, don't pull any of this shit. Like, I'm not gonna go into specifics, but yeah, like he was obviously, he was nice about it. He didn't say that, but it was just kind of like, hey, you pull this, like, that's not good. Like, don't do this, don't do that. Like, like just making expectations like clear from the beginning, so we don't have any crap like last time. Oh man. So yeah, so I'm gonna be doing that. So again, it'll be Monday through Friday. Um, saying, so yeah, working regular ass hours, that's fine with me, Um, yeah, so doing that, and then I might try to take off, like, I might put in some PTO for like the week after I'm done this training. I don't know. I should just, I have not had like a, like I think I said this on like the past stream. Just take like a staycation. Just take a week off from work, relax. I'll still do the streams, but I just, relax, relax for a freaking week, you know. So yeah, that's my plan. I don't know. Tired. Gonna nap for a couple minutes. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm kidding. Man, I was drinking coffee like before I went on the stream. I was still like fighting to like, you know, fighting to not fall asleep. I was like sitting on the couch and my couch is comfortable and I'm just like, I was watching something. I'm like trying not to nod off. I'm like sipping the coffee. I'm like, wake me up, God damn it. It doesn't. Coffee doesn't always work. It can, you know. I can focus better when I drink coffee, but in terms of like, the attendant effect of like it actually waking me up doesn't really happen all that much. Whatever. I need to like nap and then drink coffee, and then I'm like fully awake. I know that doesn't make sense, but that's like just how my body works. Like if I drink coffee and then like take a nap in like the middle of the day, and then like if I try to go to bed at like a normal time, I have so much trouble falling asleep. Like I will just lie there for like hours. Well, why do you do that to yourself? I don't know. Because taking a nap in the middle of the day feels good. And I'm like, I will just deal with the consequences later. Most of the time that happens, it's like a weekend, so it's like, whatever. It's Friday night. I'm up. It's Friday. It's Saturday. I'm up till 1 in the morning. Who gives a crap? I ain't gotta wake up early in the morning. If I want to sleep in until like 11, I'll do it. What'll happen to me is like I'll wake up and it'll be like 7 in the morning, and I'll be like, well, it's too early to get up, and then I'll go back to sleep, and then the next time I wake up, it'll be like 10:30. I'm like, oh shit. I guess I should probably get up. Be productive. Yeah. I used to like getting up early on the weekends, and now not so much. I'm an adult man, you know. Priorities. I don't even know. Like, I don't even call myself really much of a night owl. You know. It's, like being up like a reasonable amount of time during the night. Like I like being up. If it's a weeknight or whatever, I'll be up to like 11, maybe midnight. Like if I'm watching something, but like I'm usually like, I try to get to like in bed at a reasonable time, but it's like actually falling asleep. Actually falling asleep is sometimes the part that I have trouble with, like because I might, like I said, I might either be watching something, or I'll get like distracted by something on my phone, YouTube or TikTok or something, and then like all of a sudden it's just like, oh shit, like 45 minutes have gone by, like shit, I should really go to sleep. It's like 12:45, like shit, it's like 12:45. It's almost 1 in the morning, like shit, I should have been asleep by now. What does any of this have to do with Power Rangers? Nothing. I'm just talking about shit. Y'all can relate to this stuff, I assume. Also, I'm waiting for this to come in the mail at some point. If anyone, I don't know if anyone else has ordered this. David, I know you got the Zeo ones, right? I don't know if David, if you're still watching or not. If not, all good, but yeah, I ordered this shit from Toe Collectibles. And yeah, estimated July 2025, which is now. But when in July 2025 is the question. Well, yeah. I'm still on. Thought I saw something on OBS that something was disabled. I was like, oh, nope. Okay, I was like, have I been talking and no one even sees me? Yeah, still waiting on the Zeo ones. When are are the Zeo ones coming out at the same time, or are they coming out earlier than that? I would get the Zeo ones, but I already have the Lightning collection, full collection of Zeo, so I'm like, I don't need these. But I felt more inclined to get the Turbo ones because Hasbro. The only things Hasbro put out for Turbo was Blue Centurion and TJ Red Ranger, and it was like, where's like the rest of them? So yeah, what was it Figure Zero? Is that the brand name? Yeah, or Fig Zero. Yeah. So pre-orders closed. I don't know if oh yeah, shit sold out. Shit sold out a lot on this website. If you want like a good website to go to, again, not paid or endorsed by, not paid or endorsed by Toe Collectibles. We're not paid or endorsed by anybody. We have our subscribers, yes, but you know, that's a little different. But yeah, Toe Collectibles has a lot of good stuff. Yeah, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Power Rangers, Ultraman, anime shit, figure, but a lot of their stuff they sell out. David says they were released last year, but I think of some issue with shipping docks in Cali and now the tariffs. Oh shit, yeah, that makes sense. Oh shit, does that mean this is gonna get super pushed back? I'm not gonna get these shit till what, next year? Stupid tariffs. Whatever. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, because I think all this stuff, yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I just want it. This is like the last like big thing, like toy-wise, I've got from Power Rangers or Super Sentai. Cause shit's expensive, man. I can't blow my money on everything. I did the payment plan where I did like the installments, not the 4 installments, but I did like I did like the $48 a month for like 12 months. And then on one of the rare occasions that I actually had a little extra money, I went in and I paid off like the rest of the balance. Like it was like $379 or something. I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna pay this off in full. That way I can just, when I get this, I just have it. It's mine. I'm not still paying it off. No one can take it away from me. No one can hit. Alright, sorry if I'm making anyone car sick, but yeah, I think these are cool. Yeah, they look like cool figurines, and I'm probably going to put them on the shelf behind me when I get them, assuming that they'll fit. If not, if for some reason they don't fit, I will pose them somewhere else. Yes, I take shit out of the box. Alright, I do not give two craps about opening, like, keeping something in a box, like, oh, it'll be valuable. The only times I'll do that if something's autographed. That's the only thing. If a box is autographed, I won't touch it. If it's just a toy that I bought online at a convention, comic book store, whatever, that shit's coming out of the box, and I'm not gonna play with it because I'm an adult. But I will pose it. I will pose it somewhere in my apartment, and I will make it look cool. So when other people come over, they will look at it and be like, "That's cool, Steve." At least that's what I hope they're saying. They're not like, "Oh, what a nerd, what a man child you are." I'm kidding, though. I'm kidding, though. It's okay to be a man child these days. That is very socially acceptable. I don't know why I'm just scrolling through these. But yeah, damn. But that sucks, David. I hope you get the Zeo one soon. Hopefully they, you know, they'll ship it to you. Did I go? Oh shit! Didn't mean to click on that. Sorry about that. On the wrong thing. It's like, why are you seeing that? I don't know. But yeah. Oh man, yeah. I know you can watch Super Sentai online. Like, there's a bunch of websites you can watch stuff, but I like getting my physical copies, whether or not they're official or bootleg. This stuff is just special to me, so I feel like I like to own it if I can. You know, if I have a bootleg of something and an official release comes out, of course I'm tossing the bootleg and I'm getting the official release. Like that's what I did with like Deca Ranger and some other stuff. I have all of Kinkada on DVD behind me, which is like a bunch of DVDs. Let me try to move back. I think you guys can really see it. They're behind the Blue Ranger action figure, but you know, they re-release it on like Blu-ray, and it's like one thin like Blu-ray like collection. So I'm like, if I switch those out, then I'd have more room on the shelf for other things. Because contemplating, because it seems like people are now putting out Blu-rays, still bootleg, but they're putting out Blu-rays of like the older series going all the way back to Go Ranger, which I do have a copy of Go Ranger, and I think I've told this story before, but if you're new, so I bought Go Ranger off of like eBay, and the copy that I got was, you know, obviously a bootleg. Like I'm not gonna, shit on, packaging or whatever. I mean, it was fine, but here's what I got. Let me show you. I knock stuff over. This is what I got. And again, not shitting on it, but I put it in my my PS4 because that's all I had. So that was, works as my DVD Blu-ray player, and it said unsupported disc. So I'm like, oh shit. Like I'm like, oh, maybe it's region coded, something like that. I'm about to like just because it wasn't that much. It was like $25, which is for a series that's 84 episodes. That's pretty damn reasonable. But I was about to like just toss it in the trash. I'm like, wait a minute, let me try something else. At the time, the laptop that I owned had a disk drive. Now my new computers just all don't have disk drives. I don't know why computers don't have disk drives anymore. I guess that's like a super outdated thing, but whatever. So I put it in there, and I come to realize that these are not playable DVDs. These are data discs with like AVI files of all the Go Ranger episodes. Which I thought was funny. I'm like, oh, okay. So I open up VLC player. I'm like, oh, well, this is work. Hey, it plays. Cool. Hooked up, put the laptop on the ground, plugged it into an HDMI cable, and, plugged in the TV. Boom. Looks as good as if I'm watching it on a DVD, Just, select them all, make a playlist on VLC. Boom. Play the whole disc. But the cool thing is, though, is that because they're all data discs, I could transfer them. I put them on a flash drive. I think I actually saved the entire series on my computer too. So yeah, I now have a full digital copy of Go Ranger. So I think that's funny. But also, I mean, I see that they also are putting out like Blu-ray copies of it. Again, bootlegs, but I don't know. It'd be nice to have a copy that is actually in like a case and not a baggie. But whatever. Again, not shitting on the guy who did it. Nice guy. I've bought plenty of stuff from him, so still good quality, even if it's just packed like this. Whatever. Again, bootleg. Who cares? As long as the thing that you buy works, I don't really care. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to update that. Some like start collecting more physical copies of the older stuff, because for a time the older stuff, really, you couldn't really find copies of it, like bootlegs of like the full series. You'd type in like Battle Fever J, and it'd be like Volume 1 of the Japanese like DVD, which isn't gonna have subtitles or isn't gonna work in an American, an American DVD player. But it's like Volume 1, so it's like, how many episodes is that? Like 10, and then it's like $400, and it's like. I ain't buying that crap. Like, so that's why I started watching that stuff online, like all the older stuff. Basically like from like Battle Fever J up until Turbo Ranger, because they released 5-man on officially, so yeah. So I did that. I did that for a while. Watched all those series. So I've watched them all. I want to also have a physical disc on here too. So that'll be kind of my next project. But the also thing with those is, if you look on eBay, they're all like $80, which, you know, semi-reasonable, but I wish they were a little bit cheaper. So, you know, it's all. I get it. You're selling stuff on eBay. You gotta make some kind of bank. You know, you're taking time. You know, who knows where this stuff is being shipped from? If it's in the United States, if it's in, you know, another country. Most of the time when I buy like bootleg DVDs of Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, they're usually coming from like another country, Malaysia or something. You know, again, I don't care. You know, but they take time to get here. You know, it's just how it is. Countries be far away. Ain't no overnight shipping. It's not possible, you know. And usually when I buy stuff on eBay from a you know, obviously someone that lives in the United States, it's only like usually a couple days. Whenever I sell something on eBay, I'll usually try to ship it. Like I go to UPS. I don't go to like the post office because it's just more of a pain in the ass there. Like, I know UPS is more expensive to like ship through them, but it's also just so much more convenient. It's just like a couple minute drive for me. Go in, I like already print out like my shipping label. They have like $2 like bubble wrap cases. You put them in. I'm selling like DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff, so it's like nothing that's super complicated. So, you know, pretty easy to, you know, put in something that's pretty protective, ship it, boom, like it's shipped. I usually, once somebody, you know, has paid for something, I try to get that shit to UPS within the next like 24 hours or so. You know, I usually don't like to, sit on those too long because then I feel guilty. I'm like, just get it. It's like once you get it to UPS, once you get it to UPS, it's their problem. You've done your part. Hopefully they don't mess it up. They don't damage it while it's being shipped. You know, you just cross your fingers that they do it right, which usually they do. Haven't really had any issues, so I'm happy with that. You gonna sell any of your Power Rangers action figures on eBay, Steve? Hell no, that shit's mine. I don't want to. I know I'd probably make, you know, even if they're, you know, not in their, you know, packaging, you could probably still make a decent amount of money from those, but nah, I ain't touching that shit. That shit's mine. Man. I was selling like some Overwatch action figures that I had that were still in the boxes, but I guess no one cares about those. It's like those have been like on eBay for months and there's still like 0 views, like zero watchers. It's like, wow, no one cares about this. That's sad. It's like, but I don't really want them anymore. I don't want to just throw them away. What do I do? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? This is the life. This is the life that I live. Nah, I mean, I don't know. Unstable. Why is its average stream bit rate is too high? What does that even mean? You guys get to see me watching myself. Like, man, it's like a infinity loop. Oh, that's funny. That's actually kind of funny. I don't think this gives away. This doesn't give away our personal information. You guys can't see anything. RunOrHideGaming's login and password is. Nah. I ain't telling you. I ain't that stupid. Oh, God. Ugh, just cracking the old necky neck. Oh man, I'm excited to start. I'm excited to start God of War on next Monday. That should be a lot of fun. Like I said earlier, only have heard good things about it, so I'm excited. Should be a fun game. Should be a fun experience. I've never played a single God of War game in my life, so this will be all new to me. If you guys want to spoil anything, I'd prefer that you didn't, but if you did end up doing it, who cares? Like, I don't get too upset about spoilers. We're still continuing on with Fatal Frame on Steve Scared Shitless. I didn't play it this past Thursday because I couldn't go on this past Monday, so I was like, I might as well finish Final Fantasy XIV when I don't have to work the next day, and I was up till 2:30 in the morning. Oh boy, was that a long stream. 6.5 freaking hours. My God. And then we lost connection on like YouTube, and I couldn't get it back. So at a certain point, after like an hour and a half, it was like, well, you guys can only watch this on TikTok and Twitch right now. I'm sorry. So I'll edit that down and I'll upload the whole stream eventually. I still got to go through. Yeah, still going through the Final Fantasy 16 streams. I uploaded one of the Dead Space streams, so I'll work on some of that stuff this week. If I think of any more ideas for TikToks, I'll upload stuff. I think Carla might have one coming out soon, or it might have already gone up earlier today. I have no idea. I saw something, but we'll check it out. Check it out at some point, you know what I mean. Know what I means, yo. Ugh. Ooh. Then Carla's still continuing on with their cyberpunks, doing that cyberpunk stuff. I saw that Cyberpunk Edge Runners, the anime series on Netflix, is getting a season 2, which is cool because I like that series. I'll have to rewatch. I'll have to rewatch season 1 because I know I just said I liked it, but I don't remember anything that happened in it. I remember it being good, but like my actual memory of like what specifically happened, I don't remember. So maybe before that comes out, that'll be a rewatch. Like I've said, I like the world of Cyberpunk. The game itself, I just could not get into. I wish it was like an online, like an MMO RPG. I feel like it, I don't know if it would work better as that, but that's what I kind of thought it was going to be. Like just the weird cyberpunk world, but online. I don't know, like the Matrix or something. I don't know. That's my opinion. It's not whatever. It doesn't matter. Who knows what'll happen in the future? Maybe Cyberpunk 2 they'll do that or something. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. We got some good games coming up on Steven Fantasy 2. Once we finish God of War, we're doing, was it Nier Automata or something? Metal Gear Solid, Devil May Cry games, a bunch of crap, some more Tomb Raider, all that shit's coming up. All that shit's coming up, guys. It's gonna be fun, and you'll watch it, I hope. If not, hopefully you'll watch it either live or on the YouTube. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That is not on my list, David. That is not on my list because that is a game that would take for freaking ever. I do have Red Dead Redemption 2 on my list. I know that one's probably a long game, but I've been told that you don't have to do the side quest stuff, so we'll play that one by ear. I'm gonna do it, definitely. But in terms of like side stuff, we'll see with that one. What else we got? I don't know. Run out of Power Ranger stuff to talk about. So you got me for 20 more minutes, and then I'm calling it a night. Where's my list? Where's my list of crap? Yeah. Devil May Cry. Oh yeah, Witcher 3 is on the list. The Star Wars, like Fallen Jedi and Jedi Survivor on here. I got some good stuff coming up. Again, but it's a good game. I'm loving it. That's fine, David. You're allowed to love it. I bought Assassin's Creed Shadows. I played it for a little bit, and then I haven't played it in like months. Like all these games are just commitments, man. Commitments, like long, long commitments. I don't know. I like going through my pile of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Ultraman, Metal Hero series, and other related crap. That's what I like to do in my spare time, which is mostly like that's why I don't really play like video games and like my own time like that much, because I don't know. I like doing that better. If a game comes out that I'm like, ooh, I like have to play this, like I'll definitely do it, because I'm at some point the Spider-Man 3 video game's coming out, the Wolverine game, Venom. I want to play all those. Like that's shit I would, that I wouldn't mind playing on like my own time. But it's gotta, it's that shit's just a commitment, man. Like, oh, you want to play this game? It's gonna be 100 hours. It's like, oh my god, 100 hours. Oh my god. I love video games, I do, but man, it's a lot sometimes, man. It's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, when I'm streaming stuff, like I like to, I know people stream like, like MMORPGs, stuff that doesn't really like have like a specific beginning, middle, and end. Like, yeah, there's a main story, but it doesn't really matter all that much, you know? And like that's like all they do. Like Carla was talking about someone that she follows that like only plays Cyberpunk. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. There's definitely more than enough material in Cyberpunk to like keep you going for like months and years. But I don't know. I like my games with a good story. With a good story that has a good beginning, middle, and end that I can get invested in, and play through. I that's what I enjoy. And then when the game is over, it's like, okay, awesome. We're gonna close the book on that, and we're gonna start a brand new adventure. With the next game. That's how I like to do it. That's how I think about stuff. That's how I commit to games. That is the stuff that I like in my video games that are not that are not 100+ hours. I don't know. It depends on the game. It depends on the game. Yeah. Hair is all messed up from the hat. That's okay though. Yeah, man. Excuse me. Yeah, I think the next game that I'm actually getting a physical copy of is Silent Hill F, which I'm looking forward to doing. I've said it before. I do want to, when that game comes out, I definitely want to try to do a 12-hour stream of that. Maybe not do like an all-day stream where I'm like, I'm gonna finish it and then bail on it, like I did for Gollum. I was like, I could do 14 hours, but it's like, oh, the game's shit, so it's gonna take me forever to get through stuff. It's like it's 14 hours if you don't die or get lost. Yeah, I'm like, I think I'm gonna go back to a strict at hour 12, whether or not the game is finished or not. Do like the hard, do the hard like cut, and then just like come back to it another day. I wouldn't mind doing that with some other stuff, the new stuff that comes out. Like I wouldn't mind just being like, hey, here's the first 12 hours of this. If you don't decide if you like it by then, by watching me play it, you probably don't like it. I'll do 12 hours of Wolverine. I'll do 12 hours of Venom when that shit comes out. If I can, like commit to 12 hours, time, as long as it doesn't interfere with anything Carla's trying to do. I'd be cool with doing something like that. Again, I'm not saying I'm 100% going to do that. Like, definitely more with Silent Hill F, with those other games, those games are coming out, they're going to be expensive, but, that's what, like, everybody's going to be playing as soon as they come out. Spoilers for this game, it's like, it's not even been out 24 hours, and the game's like, 60 hours, how did you play it all? Yeah, it makes no sense. How do you have all this free time? How do you go live for the entire game? Oh my god. I'm kidding. Oh man. Yeah, 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 yeah. I like doing Mighty Morphin Mondays. I do. Even if nobody tunes in, I'm still gonna sit here and talk about Power Rangers and Super Sentai for 3 hours. I don't care. This'll catch on eventually. So I'm gonna watch this crap in the future. I can't really watch it in the past because that doesn't make sense. Someone's gonna watch this crap and be like, "Hey, this guy knows what he's talking about," or "Hey, this guy's an idiot, but god damn it if he ain't entertaining." I'm gonna what? And David's gonna keep doing sound bites that scare the crap out of me. Meanwhile, at RunOrHideGaming. Oh my god! For some reason in college I just did that, like the anyone if you guys are too young and you don't know what that's from, there was the Super Friends show, in the what was that, the 70s, or was it Super Friends, Justice League, Superman, Batman and Robin, Wonder Woman, all those guys, and they had the announcer meeting in this in this great hall of justice. So I just sometime at college I was just like, meanwhile back in the hall of justice, and I just cracked everybody up. So now that's just something that I say. Meanwhile, as Steve looks at random pictures of Power Rangers and Super Sentai, just kind of flips through them because he doesn't know what to talk about at this particular point in time. Will Steve continue to talk about Power Rangers in the future? You bet your ass he will. Yeah, he's got about 3 to 4 weeks to figure out what his next topic's gonna be. What will he do for the next stream? Only time will tell. He flips through pictures to try to make this slightly more interesting. Yeah. It's hard to show videos because all that shit's, copyrighted, But the loophole is that if you don't have the audio, recording to Twitch from the source that you're using, you're not going to get a copyright claim, or at least hope they won't. But, even without audio, if I try to put this shit on YouTube, YouTube's gonna be like, and your video is blocked, and it's like, oh. So yeah, guys. So yeah, if you guys want to see the Super Sentai stuff that I'm gonna show on the streams, you got to tune in live. Yeah, because otherwise it has to be cut out. I know I'm running like that gamble, but I'm like, I don't know. I like the stuff and I want to share it with you. Showing actual Power Ranger stuff, I feel like Super Sentai, there's a little bit more of a gray area because it's technically from another country. Showing an actual episode of Power Rangers would be very much very, very risky. So yeah, I don't know if like I said, if this starts to get a little more popular, we get more people tuning in for this. Maybe we can do something in Discord. Watch some stuff, Power Ranger stuff in Discord, because that ain't broadcasting. That's just sharing a screen. So, that's not technically illegal. I don't think. It's just frowned upon. Well, that makes it okay then. It's like counting cards. It's not illegal. It's just frowned upon. Head's all itchy. I like wearing hats, but wearing it for too long, head gets all itchy. Also, this hat is very much made for a child's head, so it is very, very snug. It is, but, hey, I saw it. I was like, I'd be stupid not to buy this. Maybe I'll find another Power Ranger hat somewhere else that is the size for an adult head, and I'll wear that on the next stream. Or maybe I won't. I don't know. Who cares? It's my streams. I'll do what I want. Just kidding. Alrighty. We got about 9 minutes left, so yeah. I'll do the obligatory follow and socials. So yeah, so like if you guys like what you saw tonight, please take our chance and like follow us here on like Twitch and TikTok, and like and subscribe to us on like Detail, because that would be like totally awesome. I don't even know what voice that is. And if you guys are interested in seeing any of our other content, please check out our TikTok page, excuse me, for our funny clips from our previous streams. Our YouTube page has our past streams on there that we will continue to upload for you guys. When we're able to, you know, stream actually on... exactly. When we're actually able to stream on YouTube, we don't really need to do that anymore with like actually uploading them, but we can still adjust them and put like, you know, title cards or whatever. I just haven't really sat down and done that with some of the past ones, so figure all that crap out. But I'll keep working on, like I said, I'll keep working on getting the past Final Fantasy 16 streams up there and get the Dead Space ones. I don't think there's too many Dead Space ones. I feel like I got through that game. Relative, not super long. With the Steve Scared Shitless stuff, I prefer to like, you know, do like a new game every month. Obviously, that's not always going to be the case, but don't, you know, horror games are not super long, so, you know, try to keep it within that window if I can. I think like Silent Hill 2 remake was like 20 hours, so that game took a while. I think Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater is like, I saw online it was like 14 or so hours, but there's like, I guess, a bunch of extra stuff that you can do or find, and it like it pushes it up to like 40 hours. I'm like, I don't know what this extra stuff is, but I don't know if I'm doing that. I'm playing a horror game for 40 hours. 14, yes, that's reasonable. 40, that's a big no. Okay, anyway, and then, yeah, if you guys want to hang out, talk to us, get updates on new things with the stream, you know, if we're doing a new game, if we posted a new TikTok, or, you know, like we talk about, video games on there, we talk about TV shows, movies, try to post funny stuff, you know, like we're not super active on our Discord, but we do monitor it, so yeah, so if one of us posts something, like usually the others will respond right away, or, you know, so try to, you know, if I see something like funny or interesting that relates to, you know, video games, movies, whatever, I'll post it on there. Keep it fun, keep it fun. We haven't done like a Discord movie night in a while. I want to try to do another one of those. What movie will we do? I don't know. When will we do it? I don't know. Me, Carl, and Dylan got to discuss all that shit, but we were going to do that. Like, that was a thing that we were going to do every month, and we kind of, you know, dropped the ball with that. It's just, you know, we get busy, you know, we get busy. Life happens, work happens, you know. I've said it many times before. Hopefully someday it'll get to the point where this is all we do. RunOrHideGaming gets extremely popular, and we can just play like video games for like a few hours, like 6 days a week, and just rank in that dough, rank in that moolah, and not have to work for the man anymore. We be the man. What are you even talking about, Steve? I don't even know. I got about 5 more minutes left. Trying to think of any closing remarks. God, I feel like I'm giving like a filibuster. That's like, don't start. Like, keep talking. If they leave, their vote's vetoed. I have a dream that everyone in the world will watch Power Rangers. It was kind of a lame dream. No, I'm kidding. It's fine. Yeah. Put this back on my shelf. Put the Go Ranger's going back on my shelf. Just kind of rests on top there because it's the easiest way to store it. Oh man, just working down my pile of like I said, got Kamen Rider, we got Ultraman, we got Metal Hero series. Like most of the pile now is actually officially released stuff because Ultraman, I think almost all of Ultraman, if not all, has been officially released by Mill Creek. Discotech, which is like another distribution company, has been putting out the Metal Hero series stuff, and they've been putting out some Kamen Rider stuff too. So been slowly collecting all of that. I mean, you know, hey, if they're gonna put it out officially, I will buy that in a second. Shout Factory's put out some Kamen Rider series too, so I bought that. Shout Factory also put out the Super Sentai stuff for a while, but I guess they lost the license. Will any more Super Sentai be officially released? Who the hell knows? Only time will tell. But yeah, I like, you know, hey, I'll watch it either way. With bootlegs, you run the gamble, the quality not being great, but you know, I mean, hey, an official release cannot look that great too. But I would have more faith in a company that's officially putting out something that they're gonna put in the effort to make sure shit's cleaned up. The shit looks. I put a Blu-ray in. That shit better be Blu-ray quality. I don't need it to be 4K, but I need it to be like, yeah, that looks clear. That doesn't look like blurry or they're pixelated or some shit. That shit ain't happening. Yeah, I'm gonna continue working down my pile for a little bit, then I'll start ordering some more Super Sentai. I mean, hey, here's the thing. You know, like I said, I have seen everything from Go Rangers to Don Brothers. Everything I have seen. So yeah, the fact that like there are only like 2 finished series and 1 that's still airing that I haven't seen, that's pretty damn good. For watching all this shit within the span of like, I don't know, 5 years at this point. I think I started watching all this stuff like when COVID happened, when the pandemic happened, and when working from home, and then I saw that they put the original Kamen Rider on Tubi, and then sometime after that, not too long, then they put all the Shout Factory Super Sentai stuff on there. So I'm like, oh shit! Like I watched all that. Still, eventually bought them all on DVD. But hey, the fact that I could watch them for free on Tubi was pretty damn awesome. So that's what I did, and then once I ran out of that, that's when I'm like, all right, I need more. That's when I started ordering shit. And I haven't looked back. Sometimes I take breaks, but always come back to it. Always come back to it. Alrighty, I think I can go back to the chatting screen here with my little thing. I didn't even use this that much. I was like, how do I keep this interesting? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the Mighty Morphin Monday July edition. I will be back the first, well, you know, I'll be back with other streams, but Mighty Morphin Monday will return the first Monday of August, whatever date that is. I don't know off the top of my head at this point. I will come up with another topic. I'll come up with something else to watch. If I feel like, you know, working some video games in, some Power Rangers video games, I'll work that in. But, you know, I'm okay with these streams being a little more loosey-goosey, like talking about stuff and, you know, just watching stuff, looking at stuff online. Like, I'm cool with that. For Steven Fantasy and Steve Scared Shitless, yeah, like, you're gonna see me play video games for like about 3 hours. Like, that shit's happening. You know, hope you guys are still entertained by me, but you know, I'm playing some video games there. But all right, all farting. You guys can't hear me fart. This mic's good, but it's not that good.